Hi, my name is Francisco's Automotive. If you're watching this video, it's because you need help in recharging air conditioning system. Let me show you my shop. But first, let me show you my landscape. I love my landscape. I'm here 12 hours a day. This gives me a lot of peace. We're in the process of recharging 2 different vehicles, okay? So I'm gonna show you how to start from the beginning. The first thing you do, if you're doing it at home, it's gonna be a little bit harder for you, because what are you going to do with the refrigerant? You're going to have to, if you come to a shop like mine, I can identify it, recover it. If you're one of my regular customers, I'll help you out. I'll charge you minimum or nothing. Or you can vent it into the atmosphere, which I don't recommend. But here we're recharging 2 vehicles. This one was low right here. Come on in, let me show you. This one was low. This one came in, had 2 pounds of refrigerant, and it takes 3.5. This one was 1.5 low on refrigerant. The first thing we do is we recover the refrigerant. We check the pressures, which I don't know if you can do at home. We check the pressures, okay? And then I recover the refrigerant, and then using a tool like this, you come in and you remove the Schrader valves. They just unscrew. You pull it out, and then you put the new one in. And then you want to replace them because they leak a lot. And then you just kind of screw it in like the Schrader valve on a car, and then you screw it in, and then that's nice and tight. And then you go to the other side, and then this is your low side, and this is your high side. Okay, now on your high side, same thing. You're going to remove the Schrader valve. Some of them you have to replace the whole piece. But if you got any questions, give me a call. You take the new Schrader valve, you put it in, and then you just screw it in. See that? Once you screw it in, nice and tight, then you're ready to go to the next step. Then, and do it quickly, because if you don't have a machine to put it on vacuum, you let moisture in. So when you remove it, put it in quickly. Do not ever leave a system open, because it gains moisture. Inside the accumulator, there's a silicone bag that removes the moisture. So you don't want to soak it. Now on this one over here, we're already charging it. Now this one, when he came in, he had 25 pounds on the low side, 125 on the high side, and the cap temperature was 45 degrees. We took out 2.1 pounds. We replaced the Schrader valve, same procedure. Replace the Schrader valve and put it on vacuum for an hour to remove the moisture. Now, we charged it up. Once I charged it up, then my pressures got better. You got about 35 and 150, and your cap temperature was 40 degrees. A couple of things that are very important if you're doing it at home. You got those little cans with those gauges, they're worthless. And because pressure can change, even if you put the right amount in, pressure can change between a cold day, a warm day, a hot day. Your pressures are going to change. So don't go by that. As little as 10% undercharge can send your compressor to an early grave. So you don't want to undercharge or overcharge. If you overcharge, you develop head pressure. So you don't want to do it. You definitely do not want to do any of that. Another thing you can do is, if you kind of do a visual leak. Take a visual leak, check your condenser, check your hoses. If you got the hoses, check the hoses. Like for example, that hose right there. You see how it's nice and dry? Okay, no, if you see oily, then there's a sign that might have a leak. So kind of do a visual on all your hoses, on the condenser. If you see an oily spot on the condenser, looks like oil, then you probably have a leak. Take it, or if you come by and you show it to me, I can tell you whether I think you have a leak or not. Because when you lose refrigerant, you lose a little bit of oil. Now, when I do a recharge, about every 3rd recharge, I add an ounce of oil. So figure out a way to add an ounce of oil, because if you keep losing refrigerant, it doesn't take a lot of oil. There are some systems only take 6, 7 ounces. So if you lose 1 or 2, hey, you're losing more than 10%, 20%. So make sure you have all that into consideration. Again, you're going to dump the refrigerant, and the good part about starting with an empty system, if you're doing it at home, is you know how much to put in. Because if you put in too much or not enough, it is no good. Overcharging, undercharging can send the compressor to an early grave. And on some cars, like if you own a Cadillac, for instance, and some of the Volkswagens, if you own a Cadillac and the air conditioning system stops working because it's low, then you can you cannot get it restarted unless you reset the computer. So you got to get somebody to do that. Don't go crazy thinking you got an electrical problem. You got to make sure that it gets reset. And when this system was low, the gauges, see right now, or gauges, they're getting a little bit high because I got the condenser covered up front. You got no airflow. So, but it's still good. Now, when you do air conditioning, part of it is electrical. Don't take it for granted that your problem is the refrigerant. Check to see if the compressor works, and also you got to have the proper equipment. Now, if you have the proper, we have an identifier for air conditioning refrigerant. We have a scale. Why I have it, I don't know, because I've always had it and I haven't gotten rid of it. These are very accurate scales. If you go to the older machines that I still have and they still work, I do not trust the scales anymore. That's why I got new ones. If you own a hybrid, don't mess with it. It takes a special machine for hybrids because you can't mix the oils. You can cause havoc in the air conditioning system. You got any questions on air conditioning? Give me a call. If you live in the city of Huntington Beach, Newport Beach, it don't matter where you live. Give me a call. Find my website, shoot me a question, and I'll answer it. FranciscoSautoRepair.com. Eventually, I'm going to set up so you can ask me the questions in the videos. But for right now, go to FranciscoSautoRepair.com. Call me with any of your questions, 714-375-2661. Thank you for watching the video.